Hey everyone. Well, it's Saturday. It is 9:44 Chicago time. Temp out here is about 66 degrees. Didn't have a load yesterday. Everything was, way too cheap to pull. And it was all going to areas that I'm going to get the same price out. It'd be one thing if it was, I get unloaded, reloaded, and I'm running 3,000 miles a week, and maybe I might take a couple of those. But with giving them 20% of whatever the load is, by the time you're done with fuel, I don't run to pay for my fuel for the whole week. I might as well sit at home, because then I still can't even afford, my other bills for my company, let alone pay myself. On a more positive note, give you an update. If you've been watching my videos, you'll notice that I'm adding a few angles, especially one from the driver's side, kind of giving you perspective when I'm looking out of my driver's mirror. Eventually I'll add the passenger mirror. The one thing is I got to get back into at least making some money so I can afford. I think I'm going to switch from GoPro on the outside to Sony HDR 300s like JBG, just for the fact that they're narrower, and they got even though GoPro's waterproof, the waterproof case on Sony's would be a lot better. Plus, Sony's app, I think I can control both cameras within the app. GoPro only lets you control one camera at a time. And if they would update their app to where you could have multiple cameras and control them all from the same app, I'd stay and using all GoPros for everything. I mean, I like the color. The only disadvantage is that big bulky mic adapter, but I think I'm going to stay for my front-facing camera with the GoPro, and I may, once things go back to normal, upgrade to the 8 with the media mod on it. It's smaller, lighter, and it'd be a lot easier to use, and then have the Sonys on the outside. This way at least I can control them inside here. Plus, putting the Sonys on the outside, I'm going to have to put in 2 power connectors on the corners underneath my dash, so that I can constantly have them plugged in, so that I don't have to worry about batteries dying. That's the one thing about the GoPro inside the truck. I connect it up to power, just pull the battery, and I can go an hour if I want, or however big my SD card is. Outside, it seems that the batteries last maybe a half hour, out 45 minutes maybe, so I got to be selective on what I use when I turn the camera on the mirror. So I try to show like backing in more than I would show the perspective from going down the road. As for editing, more and more, Filmora 9 is probably the best for doing stuff on the road. I mean, not that I don't like Hitfilm or Filmora Pro, it's just that it takes a little more work, and I don't have you know, I can't, if I want to create an intro, it takes a little while. Where in Filmora 9, they have a whole bunch of pre-done intros. I just make a couple adjustments to them, and then I got the length I want. And there's, you know, transitions and all that are a lot more in Filmora 9 than in the others. Also, render time is like pretty quick in Filmora 9, so I'm kind of excited once they make their upgrade available to 3.4, because then I can color code. From what I've seen, you can color code each clip, so when you're at least splitting your clips, you'll know what clip it came from. You know, if you have 12 clips, they'd be 12 different colors, so you know, hey, it came from, because what I do is, once I import all my clips off my SD cards on my GoPros, I put them into one folder, then I sort them by time, and then I just number them so that I know sequentially where they fit in the timeline. So if there's something in there that I want to cut, I mean, I don't do a lot of B-roll, so that I can cut in like overhead, you know, go and get overhead shots from off the internet and that to put in my videos. Mine are all sequential. The only thing I miss that would really make Filmora 9 like top notch is if they had a tracking feature, so you could put in, you know, some text and have it track to a part of, you know, your film. Otherwise, and also like a license to where when you don't have internet, all my effects, transitions, and that I've downloaded because I subscribe to their thing, they would work. I've tried it without the internet, so I have to use my mobile hotspot, and it just says, you know, to connect to the internet. If there was some way to, I know Hitfilm, you can download a license, and then you put it in there, and I don't have to have internet. That's another feature that would be great for Filmora, where when you're downloading these things, you could download a offline license, so that any of your effects and transitions and elements all stay, and your titles, you can access them if you don't have internet access. Other than that, like I said, when I first downloaded this, I wasn't too thrilled when I was practicing while I was on workman's comp, but man, they have really improved this, and it's not real expensive. It's pretty good. I mean, I like sometimes creating my own stuff, so that's where I'll use Hitfilm for. That's another one that's really good. It just, they need to really improve their rendering part of their software. But the rest is, I mean, top notch. I mean, like I said, I bought enough of the plugins that I've almost got Hitfilm Pro. There's only a few things that I don't have that keep it from being a full version of Hitfilm Pro. And I like it. I mean, a lot of, if you've seen the intro with the volcano on that, That's all done in Hitfilm Express, all compositing, the fire, the heat warp, all that done in Hitfilm Express. It's just, you can do a lot in there, and plus you can bring in 3D models. If you've seen the intro where there's a spaceship that goes across, that's a 3D model I brought in and I animated. So those are things you can do. It's got a tracking feature, so if I really wanted to, you know, add a text into a certain spot, I could go and edit in that. It's just that the Filmora 9 renders way quicker. I mean, if you've seen the one video where I was going through Philly and I put the bubble up on top the one building, with a tracking feature that would have stayed right in place and then went in frame and out of frame. So that's the one, if Filmora people ever see this, that's the one feature I wouldn't mind in this, like they have it in Filmora Pro, where you can actually track. That's the only thing I think, that and an offline license for the stuff you've downloaded, so that I could use it when I don't have internet. And I wouldn't even mind, because you're kind of really renting it, if the license had an expiration date, or the next time you hooked up to the internet, if I unsubscribe from that website, that it turns it off. That would be fine. I just wouldn't mind not having to always be on, you know, have to make sure when I'm going to edit videos or do my 34-hour, I'm at a truck stop that I either got a good phone signal or the truck stop's got good Wi-Fi. That's about it. I don't know if I'm gonna, my 34-hour reset will be done by 9 o'clock tomorrow, and he put me on the list that if something pops up tomorrow morning that's coming out of here that loads up on Sunday, that they give me a call. I'm not going to hold my breath, because he did that another weekend and they never did, but you never know. Well, I hope you're all safe and sound, having a good weekend, and we'll catch you next week. Next week's my last week before I go home for my week off. It may turn out a little longer. If it does, I'll try to do update videos, maybe give you a review of the laptop that I use. I'm pretty happy with it, and some of the other equipment. Thanks, and have a good day.